studio, please. We're going in 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1.
Here in their studios at Orem, Utah is where it all happens, when the exceptionally talented Osmond family gets together to perform. I'm Jill Kinmont Booth. I don't do a lot of performing myself, but 2 movies have been made about my life in the skiing accident that left me paralyzed. So I've seen the things that go into a big production. At Osmond Studios, it's a family effort. Millions of people have seen the Osmonds perform and will recognize these familiar faces. They might not recognize the 2 oldest brothers who are seldom seen on television. But in their own way, Virl and Tom are the most exceptional members of this family. Virl, 33, and Tom, 31, were born with severe hearing losses. While their sister and brothers were becoming famous, Virl and Tom were still learning to talk. In spite of their handicap, today they're leading active and productive lives. This is their story, and helping them tell it are their brothers Alan, Wayne, Merrill, Jay, Donnie, Jimmy, their sister Marie, and their mother and father, Olive and George Osmond.
And I was really lost. I looked around for help. There was none available. So I thought, well, attitude is the first thing that's important. And I thought, first of all, why did this happen to me? You know, I panicked, so to speak. And then this calm, peaceful feeling came over and said, who am I that the Lord would trust me with little souls like this who need my help? And I thought, I'm their mother. There's nobody else that would love them more or have more patience, so here we go.
Well, Tommy went to the deaf school to start with. And Virl was in regular school. And he was the boy that had the real rough time, you know.
Very frankly, it was a very discouraging and somewhat trying time as a young boy growing up. I remember years ago, since technology has kind of improved a lot of things, as you can see, we have hearing aids that you can cover up. But as a young boy, I had a great big body aids I had to wear around me, you know, and the cords that come up, you know, and the great big plugs that come out of your ears. And, you know, at a tender age like that, the kids would come up and they pull them out of your ear and make fun of you and ridicule you. You know, you just feel so awful. Tom has a much severe hearing loss than I have. He has about 80, 85 decibel.
85 decibel.
I'm only between 60, 65 decibel loss, so the simple fact that I hear more than he does is an indication of how we speak.
The difference between him and me that he's hard of hearing. I am profoundly deaf or severe hearing loss.
Okay.
Tom and Virl make important contributions to the family enterprise. Virl's talents are in graphic design and publishing. Tom is a printer as well as an accomplished photographer for Osmond Publications.
That's perfect. Fine. See. You're still beautiful.
You say that to my brother.
You're very pretty. I like the way you smile. That's all finished.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Virl has an eye for art, which is very, very unique in this business of ours because it's constant developing of ideas and looks and so forth. And I think that Virl has found an area now, especially in the graphics departments and the set departments, that is becoming very helpful to him in what he wants to achieve.
We all work together. You know, like I have my little advertising agency. Virl has a publishing company, and Tommy runs the press, so we really see a lot of each other, and it's fun to work together.
Tried to make each child feel that they were just as important as the next one, and that everyone had a place and everyone had responsibilities. We tried not to cater to a handicap. We felt that this was one of their tests in life, and everybody has tests in different ways.
I think one of the major adjustments that both Tom and I have had growing up as young boys was the adjustment of to a singing Osmond family. If we could hear, we know we would be there. And recognizing the limitations that we have because of our hearing problems, that there was just many things we could not do, simply. But it was quite an adjustment to make. You know, when your family's in the limelight and you have people come up to say to you, "Oh, you're one of the other Osmond."
We were going up to Brigham City one night, and we took Virl and Tom along to watch the brothers perform. And Virl was sitting in the front seat between us, and he made the comment, "I sure wish I had some talent." And that just cut me to the quick. So the next morning I enrolled Virl and Tom in the tap dancing school.
And jump. Go left. Go back. Here we go. Hold.
I've been, I guess, the one that's been more involved with the dancing area, and like Meryl mentioned, they taught us how to tap dance. It was really neat to see them, because we didn't even rehearse with music. All we did was rehearse with beats.
We work together on the Christmas show. We do tap dances together. We've played instruments together and things like that. It's a lot of fun. We enjoy it. Do you enjoy it, Virl?
Well, I should say so.
Do you enjoy it?
Absolutely right.
They've taught us some things, too, that have been very helpful. For instance, in our recording, because just working with Virl and Tom, we can lip read pretty well. We can also sign. And when you're in recording, it's got to be very quiet. And we have an advantage over most groups because we know the sign language. We can speak to each other and read lips without having to verbalize. So they've taught us some things that have helped us a lot.
We can give each other cues and things like that, and which words to go back to if we're like improvising and things like that.
I would learn sign language, but I wouldn't depend on sign language to communicate with him. I would communicate verbally. They would learn to read my lips rather than learning to read my hands, which has helped them communicate with the outside world rather than just to another deaf person.
What's the difference over there between the red and the white buttons?
Oh, these? These right here?
Yeah.
Okay. When it's up, when that red button's up, it's 1 through 8.
My brother Tom, early in his life, had decided that the mastery of the piano was something he'd always wanted. And he was so determined to learn how to play the piano that he spent hours and hours and hours in practice and rehearsal. Quite often you would see him up by the piano with his ears up next to the piano to hear the vibration, the sound. And I think this is probably one of the greatest achievements Tom made in his life, in spite of his problems, is the ability to play the piano.
In addition to their jobs at the studio, Virl and Tom are very active in the community as co-leaders of the Osmond Foundation for the Deaf. But for both brothers, their own families are the most important part of their lives.
Father said, no, I don't think.
When I first met Virl, he was kind of shy. He's a very tender man and a very thoughtful man. He's taken the time to really communicate with his children and to be close to them. As for me, he's always been very tender and affectionate. He wants the closeness in our family that he knew in his own family growing up. I kind of get a kick out of the way he says goodnight to me. Instead of saying goodnight like anyone else would say, he turns off his hearing aids, takes them off, and says, over and out.
Tom's hearing problem hasn't affected the type of activities and the type of things that we do. We do a lot together. We sing. Tom loves to sing, and so we just all sing together, and it doesn't sound very good, but we enjoy being together as a family. Lots of times, if Tom doesn't understand what the children are talking about, or they say something he's never heard before, Tom gets rather frustrated, and then it makes Benjamin frustrated. It's just happened with him. And then he will say things like, I wish my daddy could hear. I wish my daddy weren't deaf.
You can understand me. You see how important it is for that person learning to speak. I want you to know that when someone finds out that I am deaf, he or she treats me differently. Say, hello, Tom. How are you? Oh, I'm so happy to see you again. I go right in there. Yeah. Yeah. What do you rub your face for, Tom? I like this. You spit on my face. Like, I love you. I love you. Okay, Betty, raise up like this, please. I love you. Right, higher, higher. High.
We started the Osmond Foundation because we felt that there was a real need for parents like us who had no formal training, who didn't know where to turn or what to do. And we wanted to create something that would be a benefit to these people. I think one thing that's necessary is to educate the public on how to deal with deaf people. I think this is the problem and where the neglect has been. And this is where I think Virl and Tom could have a wonderful part to play as they perform on the stage with the brothers and show the kids in the world that you can overcome these handicaps.
Virl and Tom have accepted their handicap as a part of who they are. Being deaf hasn't stopped them from discovering their own talents and using them to achieve exceptional success.
We never mentioned it on TV before, but some of you may know that our two older brothers, Virl and Tom, went out and they took dancing lessons, and then they came home and taught us.
So tonight we thought you'd like to meet the original Osmond dance team. Ladies and gentlemen, Virl and Tom.
All right.
A lot of people ask my advice when they approach people who are hearing impaired. Try not to intervene in their life so much so that they're dependent on you. Allow them the opportunity to stand on their own feet. If they fall down and make a mistake, let them get up and try again and again and again until they feel that satisfaction that they did it on their own.